Hi, Steph. It's good to see your face. Me, I didn't know that about Saturdays being Misha Day. I just thought Saturdays were the day when they sing the song on stage. Where's Misha? Because I'm always late to my panel. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hold on, I have to figure out how to close this window so I'm not looking at my strange face. Hi. Now I'm just looking at the camera lens. I hope everyone is doing okay. I'm sure not everyone is doing okay. But the good news is there appears to be a light at the end of the tunnel here, and we are going to be out of the darkness of the last year soon. It is strange to reflect that it was the beginning of March last year when we were chewing on whether to do the convention in Vegas at all. It was like, is this pandemic thing real? Is it not real? Things had not been shut down yet. We were still on set in Supernatural, still shooting. And we had a convention that weekend, that early March weekend. And that was it. I was in Vegas, and that was the last time that I was at any sort of public gathering. And then the world shut down, and it's been a full year. At the time, I remember we were all, reflecting after, I think production got shut down on Supernatural just a couple of days after that weekend. And at that time, we were reflecting on the fact that we were probably going to be back to work in the summer, maybe June, they were saying. And it just went on and on and on, and it's still going on. Yeah, that was an interesting little moment. It was Castiel's death scene that was shot Friday night, and then it was my goodbye to Supernatural, because it ended up being my last moments on set. And there were a lot of tearful goodbyes. It was a late night on Friday. Richard Speight was directing. And then we all got on. We had to get a chartered flight that weekend because we were shooting late on a Friday, and a bunch of us were working at the convention on Saturday. So we got on this chartered flight at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and got up in the air and flew for about 10 minutes before the engine exploded. It was like this explosion, and the plane started shuddering, and there was a screaming sound, and we had to circle back, and it took about 20 minutes to get before we were approaching the runway, and we were all texting our partners saying, "Tell the kids I love them," as we came back into cell tower range. Because we didn't know if there were all these fire engines on the tarmac, and we thought we were going to die. So it was this really intense weekend where I said goodbye to Supernatural and to the cast and crew of Supernatural. I said goodbye to this beloved character who had become part of the fabric of my own emotional interior life, Castiel. And then I thought I was saying goodbye to my kids as well. It was a lot. Ultimately, we ended up getting on a dawn commercial flight and showing up late to the convention and getting there for the convention. And then that ended up being the last time that we as Supernatural cast members could see could see one another, but also could see any of the fans in person. So it was like this really intense stretch of goodbyes. And now we're at the 1-year anniversary of that. And we find me sitting on a porch outside, rambling like a doddering old person into my laptop, not seeing any of your faces, but wishing you all well. I see your comments scrolling by, and I have to say, slow down, people, because I can't read them. There's somebody trying to hitch a ride here, guys. We have a hitchhiker. Oh my goodness. Nope, my speed reading skills are not up to the task. Luckily, the Supernatural creation staff here has been curating some questions for me. I have a question from SPN made me cry. That's a very unusual name. Your parents must have been big Supernatural fans. SPN made me cry. The question is, hey Hazel, hi. The question is, how's my hip? And the answer is, look at this. I just stood up and I sat back down again and I didn't use a cane. So that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Earlier today, I'm not bragging, but earlier today, I walked downstairs and made myself a cup of tea. I'm 3 weeks out and I have no obvious signs of infection or malfunction in my new artificial joint. So thanks for asking. Arianen. Hi. Arianen has a question for me. Misha, if you could do anything dangerous just once without risk or consequences, what would it be? Love from Wisconsin. I could do anything dangerous just once without any risk of consequences, what would it be? That's a really good question. I do think that the consequences sometimes do factor in to my decision-making about whether or not I want to try something. I guess I would be kind of intrigued by the idea of space travel. I think I would like to maybe visit the moon or the International Space Station or something like that. But first of all, did you know, Arianen, that the Russians sell seats on space flights to people who are willing to pay $20 million or more? So if you have the money and you aren't too risk averse, it's possible to go visit the International Space Station. I would be interested in doing that if there were no consequences and no price tag. And I suppose the consequences of a $20 million price tag are pretty high. But if we could take that off, I would go to the moon or to the space station. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm sure I have a better answer. That's why I'm just stalling here. But you didn't squander a good hour of your Saturday morning to just look at me, contemplate, stare off into the trees and ponder. Or did you? Maybe that's why we're all here, for you to watch me staring into the trees. It is very strange talking to not people. I'm just talking to my computer screen. This is making me question my own sanity, actually, if I'm being honest. Okay. Mandalaru. Hi. Misha, if you could join any band, current or past, who would you pick? Love from SoCal. I'm in SoCal too. Small world. I think I would join. I think I would join This is a good mashup of the last two answers. I would join the Rolling Stones because I would join the Rolling Stones in their heyday. But I would piggyback that with the no consequences question, and I would join the Rolling Stones and engage in all of the sex and drugs that they do. But I wouldn't have hangovers, and I wouldn't have I wouldn't be afraid of dying, and it would be great. And I wouldn't contract any STIs. It would be a real blast. I read Keith Richards' book, and I don't know if how many of you have read his autobiography. Oh, wow, did they have? They really lived the rock and roll lifestyle. That's my answer. What do you think? Barbara A says, what do you think could ever happen between John Winchester and Castiel if they met? I think it's pretty obvious what would happen. They would engage in a rousing game of thumb wrestling. Hi, West. Bye, West. See how he ignores me? He's a teenager. Dasha says, hello from Belarus. If you could film in one of the legendary films, what movie would it be and which role? Sending lots of love to you. I really would love to have been in The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, and I would like Keanu Reeves' role. I think that would have been really awesome. I want to be Keanu Reeves. Hi, Zlata from Russia. What would Castiel do if he became God? What would Castiel do if he became God? Zlata, watch the show. He did become God, and he was an asshole. I just came up with a really great strategy, guys. I'm going to win this round. I just screen capped so I can just see what you're asking me, and you can't stop me from asking your creepy questions. Maria Luzia 14 says, a cycle of our life has come to an end and we are going to start a new phase of our life. So what is your advice for us to deal with this? Well, I think this is a very good question. However, I have to say, Maria, I don't know if you're referring to the pandemic, which seems to be winding up, or the end of Supernatural, which has wound up. So it's really two questions. The first question, the pandemic ending, I actually think that there are, first of all, like this has been a terrible tragedy and so many people have lost their lives, their loved ones, frankly, even losing your sense of smell, which a lot of people are suffering through right now, or losing your job is bad enough. But it's been a real hard time for a lot of people. And that suffering will continue. However, I think that collectively we'll also have some silver linings. And one of the things I think that we're going to learn is what it is that we truly needed and missed in being able to be in community with one another and to be able to touch one another and, and all of the things that are so critical about being a part of the human family. So I think we're going to see a big flourishing of community experience in the coming months once everybody's vaccinated. Get your vaccines, by the way. Don't not get your vaccines. As far as Supernatural being over, if that's what you're referring to, and I can't know for sure, it's an exciting new chapter for all of us. We are going to move on to other stories and other chapters of our lives. And the nice thing about Supernatural ending is that the show is available on streaming services. So like an old friend, we can revisit it. And I think that the fandom itself is not going away, and us cast members are going to always see ourselves as inextricably and permanently ensnared in this community. So we're not going anywhere either. And we'll be able to see each other at conventions, but also I think the community itself will live on. So that's not a terribly fatalistic, I guess. Listening to myself talk, I noticed that I must be imbued with a new sense of optimism coming out of what has amounted to a long, dark winter. Misha, please tell us about the alternative ending. What are they going to do? Fire you? Well, I don't know what I can tell you about the alternative ending. I don't think it's a secret anymore. The alternative ending was gonna take place in a roadhouse, and is it out there? Maybe I am spoiling it. I don't know. It was gonna take place in a roadhouse, and we were gonna have like so many of the cast members from over the years, fan favorite cast members, were just gonna be in the roadhouse, and that roadhouse would have represented Dean's version of heaven. And the band Kansas was actually booked to play live on the stage in this roadhouse. And it would be a really like lovely, beautiful reunion. But the only problem with that is that during the pandemic, it would have required all of the cast members who flew up from the U.S. to quarantine for 2 weeks. And there were restrictions on the number of people that could be even on set, even cast members. Like we couldn't have a certain number of extras, blah, blah, blah. So it actually became, in the pandemic, it became an impossible thing to shoot, which is a completely unpredictable outcome. No one could have imagined that we were able to shoot something, but not a crowd scene in a closed space like that. There was talk of possibly shooting it in an outdoor, at an outdoor stage instead of in an interior of a roadhouse. There were efforts made to try to modify things to make it happen, but it didn't end up working out. This is my Winchester. Mia Winchester is asking, Misha, what is your favorite memory playing Castiel? My favorite memory playing Castiel, I don't have one favorite memory, but I do. I think when I reflect on the fond memories of shooting, it was really just the laughing. You know, we just had a great time on set. And there were so many days and so many late nights when we were just sitting there laughing, wasting Warner Brothers money, ruining takes by pranking one another. And I think that friendship and that joy and camaraderie those are elements of working on a set that I will undoubtedly be trying to recreate for the rest of my career, because that was the highlight for sure. All right, I've exhausted a screenshot's worth of questions. Wish there was a way I could just like pause your incessant typing. You people are too fast at typing. Wait, I wonder here, let's conduct an experiment. Everyone stop typing in the chat. Let's see if this could possibly work. Is it possible? What if everyone stopped typing? No questions. Guys, I'm very disobedient. It's scrolling as fast as it possibly can right now. It's going even faster now that I said stop typing. You little... It's stopping. Slow down. Wait, guys, you're doing it. We're doing it. If I see your name in the chat, that means that you're not following instructions. That's all it means. Okay. You're all... I could almost read one. It's slowing down. All right. Forget it. I can't work with you people. Here's a question. Hi, I'm Chusha. Hi. What kind of animal do you think Castiel could have? I think Castiel had he had an angry cat stuffed animal that he gave to Claire So a cat seems like, I think it should be a cat, because also then we have that clever play on words with Catstiel. So it would be Castiel with his feline Catstiel. And I think that would be a winning combination. And I think there's also something kind of endearing about the idea of a middle-aged man in a trench coat petting a cat and then occasionally pulling out an angel blade and stabbing somebody. I just think it's a nice visual. So that would work for me. Maybe a hairless cat. I don't know if you guys have seen those. I can't remember what their other name is, but they're really, truly creepy looking animals. Or like a pet rat could be cool. I went out with the kids kayaking yesterday, and we saw a great blue heron catch a rat and grab it by the head in its beak and shake it so that it broke its neck and then swallow it whole. Isn't that cool? I can tell you more stories like that. All right. N95 masks? I have a mask right here. Hold on. I have an N95 mask right here. Where are you going for a bike ride?
We're going for a walk.
You're going for a walk. All right. Good luck. Happy adventure. Okay. Okay. Hi, Misha. Oh, this is Nastya from Russia, and she's asking, what do I think about TikTok? Maybe I want to do a movie like Felicia. I don't know what movie Felicia did. What are you talking about? I don't even have the TikTok app on my phone. That's what I think about it. It's just like I couldn't handle the idea of doing yet another social media platform yet. So I haven't engaged in TikTok. Thank you for your question. It inspires me to realize that I need to join TikTok. So I'm going to make that my New Year's resolution for March. Thanks. I'm getting on it. Hey, Misha, this is Dean's Pie asking a question. Could you tell us about your new project? Sending lots of love from Michigan. Well, I don't know what project you're referring to. I was working on repairing a little Lego castle that Mason made out of Legos this morning. Is that the project you're referring to? I have a book coming out in the fall. It's a book of poetry, and I have to figure out what the title of that book is by Monday. So that's a project that I'm working on right now, figuring out what the title is and also finishing the book. And I have a couple of other feature film projects that I'm working on developing. And I'm also working on the project of healing up so that I can start running again after my surgery. And then there's another big project that I'm working on, which is trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life, which, as it turns out, is a rather onerous task, unpacking what one wants to be when one grows up. So those are my projects that I'm currently working on. I think I probably have other projects, but I can't think of them. Well, here's a project. Right now, Gish is happening. We're doing a mini hunt for Gish this weekend. This very moment, it's happening. And Felicia Day, who was just mentioned in that TikTok question, is actually hosting. And We just launched a little fundraiser for the indigenous people of Ecuador, the Quechua people, who have just been devastated by a terrible oil spill in the Ecuadorian jungle. And we're raising money for them. That's a project that I'm working on. Yeah, I could ramble, and I am rambling. I have been rambling.